Well, good morning. It's your old slacklining buddy, Tim Brubaker again. And this is a real short video. It's going to show you what you need to build a simple slackline. There are a lot of more expensive ways to do it out there. They're really nice, but for those of you on a budget, this is the way to get going and find style on it. And the first thing you need is and I recommend a 27-foot long, 10,000 pound, 2-inch wide ratcheting cargo strap. You can buy this at any hardware store, any home supply store. I recommend Tractor Supply because these are made in China and are $9.99. And a couple of advantages to buying a 27-foot long one, even though you don't really need that length of cargo strap. First of all, buying the big, heavy 10,000 pound one gives you a real robust ratcheting mechanism, so you can get it really tight. Even a small child can set one up and get it tight enough. You don't need 2 or 3 people like you do some of the other systems that are out there in order to get them tight. Second advantage is you get this 27-foot long, 2-inch wide strap that we cut in half, tie loops in each end of, and this becomes the slings that you wrap around a tree or a pole. And the advantage to this is after you get this configured, it'll go around a tree that's like 2 foot in diameter. Really nice. And here's how you do that. You take the the ratcheting handle apart, unroll this, get your handy EMT shears. Normally you would save this eye here, this sewn eye is a real strong connection. We're really not that concerned about the strength here. This is more than strong enough for slacklining. We're just going to cut this off because this is hardened steel and most people don't have in their homes anything that's going to cut through the steel easily. So you don't need it, just cut it off. So just get a pair of shears or a sharp knife and cut that thing off right there so that you're just left with a plain end and get rid of that. Then you reel this out and cut it in half. Cut it about, that would be 13.5 feet, right? And then you want to tie an eye at each end. And this is really simple. You double back the first 2 feet or so like that. Get you enough so that you have a little tail out here. You're going to tie an overhand knot in this. Just a simple overhand knot. And leave the eye sticking out. So it'll look like this when you finish. Is that pretty simple? And so you have an eye here that you're going to hook a carabiner through. Just like that. Okay? So the end result is you have 2 of these. You've cut this in half. You've tied an eye at each end of both halves. And you end up with this right here. You end up with 2 of these nice 8-foot long straps that will go around a really wide tree. And you have an eye tied in each end. So put a carabiner in each end of that. And you're almost finished. So there's one of them. Here's the other one with a carabiner in it. If you have a real skinny tree, you're going to find out that you've got a lot more strap than you have tree. So just wrap it around it 2 or 3 times, whatever it takes to make it work. Okay? So you got 2 of those slings to go around your trees. The last piece you need is probably something else you'll get at REI, like the carabiners. By the way, these carabiners are not expensive locking, auto-locking, or locking carabiners. They're just what we call an oval carabiner. Plenty of strength here, 22 kilonewtons of strength in the long axis here. Great for rock climbing, and they're more than adequate for slacklining. But go to REI. These are about $5.50 a piece. So you've spent $10 for this, about $11 for 2 carabiners. And then you're going to need to buy, I like to start with 30 feet of this. That seems to be as long as most people are comfortable with slacklining as beginners, is about a 27-foot slackline. So get about 30 feet of this. It's called 1-inch tubular webbing. It's not flat strapping like you might see in the the hardware store. This is a dynamic quality to it. It has some stretch and give because it's used in rock climbing to build anchors with, a multitude of purposes, but primarily set anchors. So it has some stretch. It's not a static line. It does have some give to it, which is important if you're slacklining because you want to do bouncing and tricks and jumping, so you need something that has some stretch. You're going to do the same thing with this that you did to one end of the cargo strap. You're going to tie an eye in this, another overhand eye. Miss Camera Lady, can you see that? So double about a foot of it back, and then put a little overhand knot in it, and leave the end sticking out like that. Dress it down real neat, flat knot like that. So now you've got another a loop that will hold. This will never come undone. In rock climbing, you have to be careful of these. They're called water knots or tape knots when they're joining 2 pieces of webbing. Leave a nice long tail because they will tend to work loose over time. But I've never had one come loose in a slacklining situation. Never had to check them. And besides, if it comes loose and you fall, you're going to fall 8 inches. You're in a slackline. You're not hanging from a cliff. So So that's really all you need. That's that for this video. We're going to do another video as soon as the sun warms up a little bit outside. And we're going to show you how to set this up in a couple of trees out back. So you stay tuned. And thanks to my camera woman, Jenna Brubaker, my middle daughter. And in the backdrop here is a nice little indoor rock wall in our garage, courtesy of my son-in-law, Stephen Whitfield. So with all that useless information, thanks for watching, and we'll see you outside.